Hey guys, what's up? I'm doing a little bit of a different video today, and we've got Ryan here.
That's me!
And Josh.
I'm from Wong Fu!
And so, we saw Get Out the other day.
We did.
Like, Saturday, and now we've kind of given it some time to simmer.
To marinate.
To marinate, yeah.
To steep in its own juices.
Let it sizzle while the fry pan keeps on going.
And so, what did you guys... Oh, well, this is a spoiler video.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be talking all about spoilers.
If you guys have not seen Get Out, and at some point...
If you guys are watching and you guys don't want this thing to be spoiled, stop watching the fucking video!
Oh my god, dude.
What is
What?
Because then, I think that's what happens a lot of times. People are like, "Oh my god, you spoiled the video!"
Are you gonna put a big ass of obnoxious spoiler alert?
I think that was a big ass synopsis.
Probably. I mean, that was a pretty good big one right there.
Just cut the music and slow it.
I mean, I probably will.
Yeah. Done. Go, Future Shine, go. Add that edit.
I need
Fix the timeline.
I need an editor.
You do. Everybody needs an editor. Editors are hard to find. Good editors are hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was the editor for this movie though was really good.
Oh well, yeah. You're driving the conversation back to the point.
Speaking of Get Out.
Speaking of.
So what did you like about the editing? Because I didn't notice as much about the editing from this movie, but do tell what you liked about the editing of this movie.
I thought the editing, it really captured the moment of every scene pretty much carried throughout the whole entire movie.
Do you have an example?
When I say the editing, I mean...
You're thinking about it?
I'm thinking about it.
For me, I didn't, like Ryan said, I didn't really notice too much of the editing, but it was all the other parts of it, like the shot compositions and the lighting. I know you had a hard-on for the lighting.
Yeah, I was sitting in that theater and went, okay, so there's a certain scene in the movie where, spoiler alert, again, in case you disregarded the first
for whatever reason, if
you guys have watched, what is it now, 2 or 3 minutes into this video and you're still for some reason here and you don't want to have anything spoiled. So there's a part in the movie where the main character, I don't even remember his name, but...
Chris.
The main character, Chris. Yeah, I forgot pretty much all the characters' names, actually.
It was Chris, Rose, the dad, mom.
Cool, Chris and Rose. That's
all.
Those
are the only two you really
Chris realizes that this family is not who they say they are.
Batshit crazy.
They're gonna try and kidnap him or whatever the hell.
Oh, this was right at the twist, right?
Sort of. This is when they're trying to leave. So he's trying to leave the house. He's trying to get his car keys and leave, and then basically all of this family corner him in the house and trap him there. But then there's a bunch of really good single lights, single blue cool temperature lights that are shooting in from the sides and then side lighting the.
So it's around the sides right here.
No, it's like a silhouette. Sorry, not a silhouette, but it's what is it? It's a really harsh. Side light basically so then if I'm facing the camera, this is the light that's hitting me on the side, and then
you just smacked yourself.
This and then this whole part is lit, but then this is in the shadows, so you get this really dark, evil, ominous look. And then it just looks really creepy, but it's just really blue and it's spooky. But the whole blue, there's a lot of really blue temperature scenes in this whole movie.
Throughout the whole movie,
yeah. And pretty much any time at night, there's a lot of really blue color tones.
Oh, because I guess.
Especially
during the day, it's supposed to be warm and they're all friendly, but at night it's very the
dark,
suspicious
cold,
dark.
During the day it was very soft, versus towards the night it was very very harsh. So I think I don't know, when I saw that I thought of it as during the day it doesn't really show who they are. They're trying to they're trying to stay in the whole what do you say? I mean
the facade.
The facade. Yeah. They're trying to play the part that they're trying to give to Chris, so he doesn't suspect anything else. Even though he already sees it crazy, but towards the night you start. Yeah, towards the night you start seeing the stay woke. Towards the night though you start seeing the concrete evidence of who these people are and who they're really carrying out.
But that particular scene was really obvious. If you didn't already catch on to what it was then. It was dumb, but it's just really lots of cool coloring and stuff like that, and I'm sure the color correction and color grading actually had more to do with it as well.
On top of the lighting.
But the lighting itself I thought was dope. And another thing about the cinematography is that throughout the film you'll notice that there's a lot of extreme close-ups that make you super uncomfortable.
Very claustrophobic.
And we were sitting basically in the second and the third rows,
Yeah,
it was really
that
close
made it even
anyway.
worse, and you're just like, oh god.
So I was sitting there.
So big.
I was sitting there like, I don't know. I leaned over Jennifer. I was like, I don't know if this is just like a super close-up shot or if we're in the second row right now.
Yeah.
But that combination of them really like makes it feel giant.
Yeah, it makes it really uncomfortable too, which is I think the mood of the film that I liked that had the best subtlety to it the majority of the film, which is like the first half of it. It just made you feel uncomfortable, but not necessarily like pure terror. Like it wasn't like, oh, there's an axe murderer.
I think.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say when you're talking about uncomfortable, the main scenes I'm thinking about were the caretaker and the maid. Because you know how a lot of times like you would see them and then slowly like for the next scene it'd slowly pull into their face.
Yeah.
As if like to like see like just like that crack of reality, but no, it wasn't that.
When you said uncomfortable, I was thinking of just the uncomfortability, whatever, of how like the social situation that he's in.
Yeah, definitely that. Yeah, but I feel like that mood was the most nuanced part of the film, and that was what made me enjoy it the most. I think is that it was just like, man, I'm really uncomfortable, but there's a very like, smiling, happy presence outward that they're supposed to be giving. But even though they're saying like, oh hi, welcome, nice to meet you and stuff, it's done with such a plastic sort of like creepy. Robot like way that doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
And it just makes you feel uncomfortable. That's probably my favorite part of the movie.
How did you guys feel about like the sound design of the movie?
Sound design was really good.
That was a really
sound
big
design
point
was really
for me.
good too. Yeah. I guess that's actually a lot of the editing too, is how the sound design was worked into that. Because a lot of it, I feel like a lot of the scares that weren't necessarily. Actually. I think most of the scares were all jump scares.
Yeah,
I mean,
there
weren't that many actual jump scares.
Yeah, more of it was like rising tension to the point where they could have like a crescendo and then bam.
But that's what I'm saying though, is that there was always that like it was all like jump scares brought on by like
that punch because of that
and it just makes you jump like. But
that got me.
But
Josh was right next to me. I was like,
Sean just like jumped.
Yeah. But it definitely made you feel uncomfortable, so you're way more susceptible to like sharp, loud noises to like trip the oh you should be scared now moment.
Yeah.
Normal sound design too, like a lot of the what do you call it, the hypnotist, like the way that the mother like
you just kept going,
kept going, just like
we're never allowed to drink tea with that anymore.
Do you drink tea with a little spoon?
That's a very old Southern thing.
The old Southern thing,
yeah.
like sweet tea and stuff.
But it's funny though, because the movie itself was not based in the South. It was shot in Alabama, but it wasn't based in the South. I think it was
based in an undisclosed like location.
I think it's upstate.
But
New York.
I think it was giving off to
like upstate New York.
But it did feel like upstate New York. But I think that's mainly because like the first like 5 to 10 minutes, like you see like your household.
That's true,
but
I also feel like they didn't list any particular location because it could be anywhere. Like it's happening anywhere in any town in the U.S.
But I feel like
beyond.
Well, I mean, just because like since like I'm from the East Coast and I was in the South, like when I saw this film, I was just like, because then based off of like the geography, seeing like all those trees and just seeing like the mood of everything, the color schemes as usual, it made me feel as though it was like a very southern place, or not like a super southern, but then it's in the South. Yeah, that's like the general location.
Because I was watching a video before I got here talking about like 25 facts about Get Out that you didn't know.
Yeah.
And one of them was like the interview with Jordan Peele. It was shot in Alabama, but he specifically didn't disclose. He didn't place it's not set in the South. It's not set in the South and that's why none of the people have like Southern accents or like. Actually, there might be a couple, but like for the most part, they don't have Southern accents and stuff because he didn't want it to be like. It's very stereotypically in Hollywood to make all racists are from the South. Like, it's just the South is just a racist place. And, like,
don't go there.
Yeah,
which is actually very smart on his part. That way people won't like localize.
Because the idea is that like the reason of the film was to be like, look, like there are these like little micro things that all lead into like a system of racism,
a bigger picture
that he feels makes him uncomfortable. It's not necessarily like let's go lynch a bunch of people and hang them from trees and stuff. It's not even that crazy of an example. It's more subtleties that lead up to a big crazy plot point, but it's not. None of it was meant, I guess, as as just another stereotypical like the South is bad sort of deal, which I thought was really cool, really smart on his part.
you were saying like the 25 facts that you didn't know about Get Out. Like, did you guys look up online of all the little tidbits and information that like
the Easter eggs?
The Easter, the Easter eggs, like why she's eating cereal and milk separately.
Yeah, separate the white from the color. It's like, yeah, I read some of those before I actually went to see the movie. So when I saw them, I was like, oh, there we go.
Okay.
I guess, and I noticed, and because of that, I guess I started noticing a lot of other stuff placed throughout the movie and stuff like that, like some of the color schemes of like how people were dressed and stuff like that. I think
lots of like reds during the party.
There was during the party there were a lot of reds, and there was also a lot of I think Chris was the only one wearing blue. I think my friend pointed that out to me during that particular scene. He was the only one wearing blue. I think. I could be wrong on that. I need to go rewatch that scene and see if.
I think I need to rewatch the entire film now.
Yeah, because when you guys say like there was like a lot of red, I'm trying to remember.
I did go and check in the trailer. There's that scene, and there's a lot of women in red dresses and stuff. There is that for sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think another one of the interesting things was like when he was strapped into the chair.
Oh yeah,
was like he was literally forced to pick his own cotton.
Pick cotton and then put it in his ears. Yeah. I saw that. I noticed that.
I noticed that too, and I was like, this guy.
I read another thing. That was like another like analogy or not analogy.
The deer head one?
Yeah, where he takes like Chris kills the father using a deer head, and in the beginning of the in the movie he was like, I hate deer. When he killed
might as well just kill them all.
Yeah, kill them all sort of deal. And so there's that irony in there, and I was
the deer that he killed ends up the one.
Huh?
No, the deer that he killed ends up being like the thing that does him in the end.
Yeah.
It's funny because that line, when I see one buck dead in the street, I just think, thank goodness, one down, 1,000 to go. Like that was like one of those kind of like ha 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 ha. He's kind of like
nervous laughter.
Yeah.
That was actually one of the lines I didn't like in the movie. Like I appreciated the movie for a lot of its subtlety, and
but that one was kind of more like
when it wasn't subtle. That's when I was brought out of the film. And that's what I didn't like about it. I know other people might not agree with me. They might like that. It's still tongue-in-cheek in sort of a way, but it's a little bit more overt. I know that people might enjoy that, or they might that particular line might speak to them. But for me, watching it as a movie, that's what pulled me out of the movie. I saw that and I was like, oh, this is the in my brain it was like this is the message that I'm supposed to get from the film. Like, oh, it's a movie about racism and stuff, and then that, because I could so obviously read that. It pulled me out of the movie, and for that reason, those are some of the parts about the movie that I didn't like. But it's the only thing you could really ding it for, because otherwise, I really enjoyed the movie as a whole. Like it was, it was a lot of fun, and there's actually a surprising amount of like humor to sort of let the movie breathe.
Definitely, the TSA agent brought in a lot of that humor to just change the pacing up, or else it's just way too tense.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the breather moments are very obviously constructed.
It made it more realistic.
Yeah. So now that you've seen the film and realized like all of these little tidbits, like you would go back and rewatch it to.
I would go rewatch it, but I don't know that I would watch it start to finish. I would like probably just skip around
to certain
scenes, and that lends itself a lot to because it just like it makes me like the movie as a whole is built to make you feel uncomfortable, and because it makes you feel uncomfortable, I don't know that I'd want to watch it again for that reason. I'd want to go, I guess, like watch it to take certain scenes and just watch that scene and fast forward to different parts or watch how the structure of the scene goes. I don't know that I'd necessarily watch it again for the enjoyment of watching it as a movie. But I can say that about a lot of films. Like the rewatchability of a film is like sort of the like top tier of things that make me like make it like a favorite movie for me. And that, I didn't really feel it from this film. I really liked it, don't get me wrong. Like I thought it was a really great film, but I don't know that I would rewatch it again and again purely for entertainment value.
Josh, what about you? Would you like rewatch it, like buy it on DVD or whatever? Just
I probably wouldn't rewatch it, and if I was to rewatch it, I'd probably watch it with friends like that haven't like seen it before.
That's true.
So you can get
so I can get their response and see like how they respond, just to have like a topic just like to talk about. But I mean, it was a very smart movie with like how like they had everything set up. I just probably like wouldn't catch it again. Yeah.
And it's crazy. It starts with a $4.8 million budget, and it's exceeded $100 million.
Good on you.
Crazy.
Good on you, people involved in that film.
Yeah.
Definitely giving Jordan a blank check for the future. They're just like, Jordan Peele, there you go.
Do whatever the hell.
Do whatever you want.
And like, the thing is, he said he has like more ideas based off of this sort of social horror.
Yeah, I'm down to watch more of this. I really want to see what the next one that he comes up with is.
One thing that I do wish that they kind of like, talked about more about was the whole family. I mean, I feel like towards...
You want to hear like more creepy details about the backstory, or?
No, I mean like, how again like he ends up in the chair and he like watches that video about the butterfly or whatever. Yeah. I felt as though like from there, I was still into the movie, but then I started slowly like getting lost of like the whole point of like the video. I know it was like brainwash him so that way like they could take the brain out, but I feel as though I wasn't like really connected, and that sort of like disconnected me from like the whole movie.
Interesting.
Because I feel like that should have been, I don't know, maybe I guess I wasn't paying attention, but I feel as though that could have been fleshed out a lot more.
It could have been, but at the same time, there's a lot of mystery to it, and if we got, I feel like
too much information.
If they got even more into it, it would just have distracted you even more.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't add to the story that he's trying to tell, So I think that it was just the right amount of creepy backstory and like set pieces that made it look like, oh, there's this big thing that they've been doing forever. But at the same time, like by the end of the movie, I didn't necessarily want to know more about like the family or the crazy family or anything like that. Like
I thought it was just a good amount of information.
Yeah. It's just, I felt like it was the right amount for that particular point. Although, yeah, I mean, like generally though, in a lot of other movies, I feel like, man, I want to know more about like this whole creepy, like the same thing.
Like how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. But then you get lost in plot, and plot doesn't matter in a lot of movies. Like, plot doesn't. As I learned from scriptwriting class, plot doesn't matter, story does, or whatever. Plot doesn't matter, character.
What did you guys think of the sunken shot?
That was cool. Yeah, the sunken place. That was actually really cool. Actually, I forgot to talk about that.
Yeah,
Gina was actually telling me that.
That
Jordan Peele tweeted that everyone's sunken place is different. That Chris's sunken place was a screen because when his mom died, he was watching the TV, and so that's why it's a screen that's off in the distance.
Interesting. That's really cool. The effect of that shot was really cool. I'm curious to see how they shot that.
I feel like maybe green screen and like a chair in the middle, then after that have have like the ocean, black mat, and
because I think it might have been like a water filter, but he wasn't underwater. Like I don't think he was underwater for that shot, but it made it look like he was underwater.
So then they just do like the whole slow mo.
But I don't know if he was on wires or not. They just made the wires go away.
Because they did like a side, and like they did like an actual bird's eye view.
But he looked dry. Like his
body
looked dry. So I'm curious to see like a behind the scenes of how they shot that particular scene, because that scene was pretty cool.
We'll have to wait until the DVD comes out.
That's true.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this Get Out spoiler talk video.
Spoiler free.
Spoiler.
No, it wasn't.
This is a spoiler heavy video.
Spoiler free.
This is at the end of the video. If they've watched to this point, they're just like,
it's too late to go back at this point.
It's too late. You've sunken yourself.
Hey.
But if you guys like this video and us discussing about it, be sure to like the video and leave a comment for more. Subscribe, and then I'll link to your guys' social media stuff down below in the description box. And I will see you guys in the next video.
Bye.
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 Stay woke.